Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and don't we all love some nice, good anime cringe, especially when it comes from the localization side of things. You know, your Funimations, your Crunchyrolls, your Viz Medias, the individuals that will take the Japanese language, redo it in English when we have our anime, and most of the time, it works out fine. You know, say what you will about the quality of sub versus dub, but at least the localization aspect is usually fine in the modern day. But then we have these jerk-offs. Crunchyroll removes gendered language from English localization of Onimai, I'm Now Your Sister. Full disclosure, I have no idea what this is. But when it comes to cringe, when it comes to anime, I mean, I love this sort of news. So we're going to go through here and to see what sort of ghastly changes has been made to this Japanese property. And hopefully we'll find some fun in it. Let's read through here. Crunchyroll's habit of licensing censored versions of anime has been under massive fire ever since their purchase by the pro-censorship Shoni, but a recent edit by a streaming platform to the English subtitles for Onimai, I'm Now Your Sister has made audiences more concerned than ever before. Oh! So it's not even, it's the subtitles, it's not even a dub because it says the English subtitles, so maybe it's not even dubbed and they're changing the language. Okay, if you don't have respect for the culture, then you shouldn't be doing this. Here's the deal. By trying to force your Western political narratives and how you think language should work and where gender should and shouldn't be and whatnot, you are straight up disrespecting another culture. Now, if I was to, let's say, go to New York City on Cinco de Mayo and put on some sort of like Mexican mustache stick on and a sombrero, would you not say that I was disrespecting Mexican culture, that I was racist? How is this any different? You are taking what is distinctly Japanese, their language, their culture, their television, the whole nine, and bending it to fit it to the West and your own political narratives. How is, explain to me, the dumb YouTube guy that doesn't know what does the not so good stuff. As if I was that dumb, explain to me how changing their language when you produce their shows is okay. Let's continue. An adaptation of mangaka Neko Tofu's original work, Onimai, I'm Now Your Sister, follows the story of Mahiro Oyama, an anime-loving shut-in who, after being subjected to one of his scientifically inclined sister's experiments, wakes up to discover that he has been transformed into a middle school-aged girl. Already doesn't quite sound up my alley. Unless it's a comedy, then maybe we'll watch it. But point is, pretty kind of standard plot for some of the more zany anime out there. And if the entire plot hinges on gendered language, a boy being turned into a girl, that's probably what you shouldn't cut in the subtitles. This isn't some allegory for trans rights or anything like that. So why are they removing gendered language? At least I assume it's not. I haven't seen it, but the point remains the same. Since its discovery by fans in the West, Onimai has been the center of a constant controversies as its premise has led gender activists to falsely claim the series is a transgender anime. I literally just said it's not a transgender allegory. Right on the money, batting 1,000 a day, boys! While others have disingenuously labeled it as child porn due to its mere featuring of lolly characters. Right here, we're going to have the left versus the right in just about every aspect. One screaming, it's a transgender allegory, and the right is screaming, child porn because lollies. When anime fans in the middle just like, can we watch our show? Like, can both of you shut up? You're like the parents that know that they're gonna get a divorce, but they're still trying to stay together for the kid, so they're fighting over every little thing. When we just want to chill, go get your divorce, go separate ways. Maybe you'll both be happy, and I can watch anime, just wherever I'm at. If I'm at Dad's house for every other weekend or whatnot, I'll chill and watch anime there. I'll watch it at Mom's the 5 days a week when I'm after school or whatever. Just get your divorce. At the end of the day, neither of these are true. This is not a transgender allegory, and it's not child porn. It's just a zany anime, if my assumptions about the show are correct. Sadly, the series' bad luck didn't end there. Upon its January 25th premiere on Crunchyroll, it was soon discovered that this streaming platform had bizarrely attempted to erase gendered language from Onimai's English subtitles. But how? You're not going to get the full context of a story about someone switching genders via science or whatever by removing gendered language. Like, take the political aspect of this aside. Like, the left trying to do this or the right trying to do whatever. Take that aside and just watch the show, that has gendered intentions and remove all gendered language. The storytelling is going to fall flat because now you need to find a different way to differentiate and recontextualize sentences and events and plot lines. That doesn't make sense. This change, as shared by Twitter user Ian Tway, has made the scene in the series' second episode, My Hero's Time of the Month, wherein Mahiro notices that her now sister is slowly beginning to adapt to her new situation. Girl's sitting posture, Mahiro observes the original Japanese as per a fan translation. You're becoming more and more girly. However, in Crunchyroll's version of the episode, Mahiro instead asserts, you even sit differently, before asking, you've really gotten into the swing of things, huh? Now, yeah, that is an inherently noticeable change. Like, if that's the case, girls' sitting posture and you've become more girly. It's like they're removing the fact that there are differences between men and women. Men and women, sometimes we just have to sit differently due to the way our bodies are different. The human body, the male body, and the female body, in 90% of cases, aren't the same. So yeah, they're gonna sit different. By erasing language like that, you're also changing the context of the sentence. You even sit differently. Well, what does sit differently mean? Like let's say the character was male the whole time. Let's say they normally sit cross-legged, and then they go through a change, not to another gender. They go through a change. Their mentality changes and whatnot, and they start sitting instead of cross-legged, they're sitting straight. Maybe they sit on their knees. You could say, oh, you sit differently. That is, that's true. The whole you sit, with girly posture, you sit more girly, accentuates the change that has happened to this character. This change, the change in the line doesn't make any sense. It only serves to push a narrative. What in the world? In response to Iwente's initial call-out, Jonathan TFX1 confirmed that this gender-neutral translation was seemingly exclusive to the English subtitle version of the episode. Crunchyroll subs Spanish, like a girl Latino, like a girl English differently, he wrote. Okay, so yeah, it's not been changed for Spanish-speaking countries. That's good at least. At least this weird influx of trying to take down the big evil enemy that is gender hasn't spread to anywhere beyond the West, though it sucks that we're getting the brunt of it. Other people, come, share our pain. Misery loves company. This change appears to have been the work of a translation team which included Tomoyo0180, who on the day of Onimai's debut took to Twitter to brag about their assignment that she was able to put gamer knowledge to good use in butchering the series' localization. The show I worked on is out. Finally, I can put my gamer knowledge to good use. Woo. Onimai's animation is actually incredible. I'm so chuffed I get to work on it. What the hell does chuffed mean? Anyway, providing insight into their approach towards Onimai, Tomoyo0810 explained on January 7th that in some instances deciding to avoid a one-to-one translation helped elevate my translations whilst retaining the intended meaning. Did it though? Did it really? Look, in Japanese, translating to English, you can't do one-to-one the vast majority of the times. The language and sentence structure, they're just completely different. While I am no expert, I did take a couple years of Japanese, and for a while was very conversational. I wasn't fluent, but you could drop me anywhere in Japan, and I would have been able to get by. Now, it's one of those things, if you don't use it, you lose it. That sucks. I really need to get back into it. But the point is, it's not a one-to-one transition. It never has been, never will be. The languages are too different. However, you do want to get as close to possible, translating the words and keeping the meaning as close to the same. There's certain things that won't work, but as a whole, it works about 75% of the time. And with a little bit of knowledge of Japanese that I do retain, these lines right up here, the girly sitting and you become more girly, girl's posture, you could have done those. Those have pretty easy to translate, words. So this was clearly a political move. I always try to ask myself, what would I say in this situation? They added in a now deleted follow-up tweet. Now, with this show, I'm like, what would I say as a fellow gamer? It shouldn't be about what you would say. You are not the character. What we should be asking is, how do we honor what the author wrote and stay true to the source material while translating to a new language? That's what you should be asking. You should take yourself out of this completely. Inevitably, the localizer's intentional disregarding of Neko Tofu's original vision drew criticism from fans, particularly those who have grown tired of the West's self-aggrandized attempts to improve foreign works. Yeah, exactly. Back to my wearing a sombrero example from earlier. How is your improvement of these non-Western works not racist? You're telling me that you can take this culture and make it better, but how is that not cultural appropriating? You're appropriating their culture, but with your own new Western twist on it. Aren't you the same people that get upset when white people have taco trucks? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. In turn, Tomoyo0180 responded to the massive backlash unleashed against her by both doubling down on her work and insulting those who disagreed with her. Oh, what a shock. "What did you do today, kiddo?" the translator asked, imitating a conversation between two individuals. "Oh, I was watching this anime and the translator didn't translate a line the way I would have, so I went to find them on Twitter and left them a mean comment. Wow, I'm so proud of you." It seems fair to me. If you're going to be on Twitter, if you're going to be in the public space, then you need to be open to, criticism, judgment, the whole nine. And if people want to come at you and say, "Hey, I did not like what you just did," yeah, be open to it. Now, you're free to respond like this as well, but it's not winning any favors with the anime community. Adding even further fuel to the fire, Tomoyo0810 would later admit to being a newbie translator. Question: how do you tend to translate sounds of exertion? Like, obviously I don't know what this hiragana means, but anyway. Newbie translator looking for more ideas to add to my arsenal. I tend to struggle with onomatopoeia since I've never been to English language comics. Ultimately, Tomoyo0810 would declare that they were locking my account for a few days until the angry e-boys give up on harassing me. Oh, but you use gender language there. E-boys. Like, why didn't you use e-person, e-people, e-thems, e-theys? But it's cool for you to use gender language, ya flippin' hypocrite. Following her eventual return to the public eye, Tomoyo0180 would poke the bear one last time, admitting on January 17th that the hilarious thing is even the so-called one-to-one translations I gave as examples, as seen above, aren't even one-to-one. The examples aren't here, don't know what to really say or do about that, but the point is, yes, this is happening. If you're an anime fan in the West, you need to worry about this. You need to worry about the infection of left-leaning politics into something you love. I don't like to just blame the left. I don't like to just blame the right. I really, really don't want to get into the weeds of this side's wrong, this side's right, whatnot, unless I'm actually covering something inherently political. But they are making something that should be apolitical political, and it is only one side doing it, at least when it comes to the translation of the medium from Japan to America. Now, we're always going to have the crazy right-wingers that claim that all anime is porn and this, that, and the other, and we can fight them as well, but this is going to be a battle on two fronts. The left is trying to destroy the Japanese culture from within, and the right is trying to destroy it from without. And us anime fans, we're caught in the middle. If you were to ask me, I'd say the version coming from the left is actually worse, because everyone knows that the right scream, well, about just about everything when it comes to foreign concepts they don't understand. But the left, they're a whole lot more tactful. The left will try and invade that cultural space, change it from the inside, like they're fighting some sort of machine, like the Trojan horse of anime. And I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see translations being completely redone for Western audiences because it uses gender language. I don't want to see voice actors who are dubbing in English start changing the language because, what was said in the Japanese version is offensive or could be taken the wrong way or triggering. But these are things that are actually happening. And we need to call this out, be it on Twitter, YouTube channels like I'm doing now, whatever you can. This needs to stop. Do not let the left or anyone who has ill intent infiltrate this community and this medium that we have loved for many, many years and do with it what they please in a way that will tarnish what we've grown to love. But that's all I've got for this one. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below or on Twitter at BoltTheWord. I would appreciate any feedback you have to give, especially concerning issues like this. And if anime is up your alley, I have more videos on that, as well as other nerdy news covering things like Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering, Star Wars, you name it. It's here in the nerdosphere. So please subscribe because this has been Words of Paradise.